Hello everyone, how are you today? This is Saturday, April 1st, and this is no April Fool's joke. This is the real thing. What I want to do is I want to take a moment to talk to you about transparency and accountability. All right. I do know that there have been projects that have been done in the past that have been failures because of certain things that happen. You know, they all are all lined up in a domino, and it just takes one somewhere in the middle to tip it, and it all falls down. So it's a matter of how hard or how much or willingness you want to get back into it again to make it something important and important to you as well. Doing the Avro Arrow, especially the one that we want to do, is extremely important. I know that we all want to see an Avro Arrow fly, and that's always been on my mind since the 60s. I remember watching a show with my father when I was a kid, and I remember asking him, this is going back in the 60s, late 60s, early 70s and such, before I was a teen, and asking him, do you think they could ever build an Avro Arrow again? And he said, sure, if you have the money and the people and the time, then anything is possible. You can do it. Now, I know that some people will turn around, and there are videos that turn around and say that Canada can never build another jet fighter like the Arrow again. But to be honest with you, I remember that was all redacted a long time ago. We're perfectly capable of building our own aircraft. Plus the fact the Arrow is like 60 plus years old. So, but that's the one thing that I want to try to put forward to you more than anything else. And the reason that I talked about the failures about other organizations is because, to me, there should have been some form of transparency and accountability. All right. So the transparency that I have, that I've been working on, is that whenever I do memberships, like I keep your records, and there's actually a record box just beside me and in drawers. It has your information, and it's safe with me. Okay. And I guess that I want to be able to maintain an openness and an open communication with you always. We want to let you know that where we stand. And I am perfectly capable of making a mistake. Where I shine is, for me, over my time of knowing myself on this planet Earth, is that I like to try to correct the mistakes that I've done. So if I do something wrong in this project, I will tell you, good or bad, I will tell you that this is where we are, this is where we're standing. So transparency is that ability to be open with you. That's kind of the main thing that I want to put forward. Okay. For every time you donate money, for every time you get into memberships and such like that, what that does is it puts a bit of money into Arrow 206, and then that money goes into Project 206. So I can get lined up here a bit. I'm sorry. So what happens is I will sit there, and out of 100% of the funds, I'll take 15%. That'll go into Arrow 206. The rest of it will go into another account, and that's for the project to build the aircraft. All right, and that 15% that I take is to buy ink, is to buy paper, is to buy mail, is to buy envelopes, is to take the time to put it all together. I've got items such as dog tags and stickers that go with these items. Okay, and I mail them all up myself. Right now, the group that I have, the members that I have right now, are just taking a bit of a hiatus. So it's just me that's running this whole organization right now. I can call on them any day, so anytime, and I know that they will jump in a heartbeat. But I'm not going to bother them, because right now we're just working on this new platform to introduce us into your life, and to hopefully build a good reputation and rapport with everybody. That's members, sponsors, the general public, the government, law enforcement, lawyers, whatever. This is all important to do this. So now that you have the accountability, and the accountability really breaks down into a whole bunch of different areas. I have my little script right here, but the accountability is being open on everything that I do and every action that I take. It's important that if I make a mistake, that you are well informed as to what has happened, what transpired, what we did to correct the problem, and so on down the line. It'll never go straight. Okay, one of my funny things is, I guess one of the comments I like to make now and again to myself is, how hard can it be? Well, then you really know just how hard it is when it comes your way. So, I guess my promise to you is not to do those things that others did, and they failed at it. Okay, I want to see this Avro Arrow fly. I'd love to see it in my time. Whether I do, I don't know. But I know that anybody that's behind me that's going to be on this project, whoever is next on line, that gets put into my position as being the owner, he or she will then carry on the project to its final fruition. I mean, we'd all love to see the Avro Arrow fly, right? I mean, that's the whole idea behind this project, is to build a one-to-one, full-scale, fully functional, meaning that it's flying. Now, originally I put it as a non-military because non-military means that it doesn't have to carry all the armaments that this plane would have done back in the 50s, okay? But then it becomes what they call an air show demonstrator and a static display aircraft. So in other words, if the runway is long enough, we can land the Avro Arrow onto the tarmac. We can park it up, and you can come over and touch it. You can sit in it. You can, we'll set it all up that you can get a seat in it, and so on down the line. I mean, as long and that includes flights. As long as we're certified to be able to carry one passenger, pilot, and a passenger in the back, then we will do that. Absolutely. That's the whole idea behind it, is that for you to be able to see the Avro Arrow fly, and for me to be able to as well, to be honest with you. The other side of the thing is that I don't have an ego that is bruised easily. What I encourage is your feedback. I know that in recent times, I just posted up a video of our first our promotional vehicle about building 206. Let's bring her back, which is what I have right. I got to get used to this camera. I really do. Right there. Let's bring her back. And so that's kind of been our motto, is let's bring her back. We've also got another t-shirt that says let's get even. And that's just to play with the government. Okay, the government's already said we can build. All right. All we have to do is we just have to get permission, and then we can take off from there, so to speak. So it is important to me that your feedback comes back to me, and I read what they say. And it either bodes well with us. If it doesn't, I'll let you know. That's just being honest. If you want me to put steel wheels on an airplane, then that's going to be a no. So we'll go to rubber. One of the things I already made mention about records, we try to keep. Well, I do keep a report of and maintain the records for future needs. So when you buy a membership, like I say, it goes into my file back beside me over here, and it remains there, safe and sound. The other part of the coin about being accountable is, like in Friends, there are people that will join, that will become colorful with their words, or they will become more demanding against the person who is saying something. I found over the time, and I'm talking a long time here, is that some people are younger than me, but they've read a lot about the Avro Arrow. They've done their project really well, and they have the understanding, the technical stuff about the Avro Arrow. So when people actually voice up about certain little odds and ends, they get very angry, so to speak, and they wind up saying things that really, maybe under certain circumstances, they would never use, but they feel that it is right by their standards, and they are going to stomp on you to prove it, and that's what we try to avoid. So anything unethical that is within the project or in a part of friends gets reprimanded quickly, because we don't want those kinds of people with us. There are 70 billion people on this earth. There's 40 million Canadians in this beautiful country of ours, and if you get rid of one or two that are bad apples, then that makes the fruit grow even better, right? So I got to keep looking down because I need to know what I wrote down. Our goals are set. They're not in, well, our goalposts will be set, all right? So if we're going to do a project and this is our goal, then we're going to build that up until we get this goal done, all right? Now, we're not moving that goalpost. We're keeping it as it is until we get there. Once we get there and we look at it and say, well, why is that wing pointed over that way? Okay, well, let's re-describe it, re-engineer it. Let's find out what the blueprint said and see where we went wrong. And if we have to adjust, we can do it. But we do not adjust until we've had a complete complete meeting to understand what we did wrong and so on down the line. The same goes with finances. The same goes with a whole bunch of other things. This project is going to be so important to the Canadian people, and that it's not funny. There are a lot of people who would love to see the Avro Arrow fly, and it's something that we want to accomplish in our lifetime, my lifetime, before I go meet my maker, right? So we'll always have pros and cons. When we have them, we will take them, we will define them. If it looks like it's going to go south, then, like I said, we'll adjust to be able to get there, but we have to get there first before we can adjust anything. So we can find out where the problem lies, who did it, whether it's myself or anything else. See, the whole thing is that I need to be accountable for my actions. So if you fail, then that means I failed you. Okay, that means there was a miscommunication somewhere in there. So I need to correct it to find out what happened. Okay. The project will depend on trust and honesty and our accountability. And without getting into really, how do I want to put it now? When we get into areas that falter, okay, then what we need to do is stop where we are, and that includes other areas. If it affects one area, then it's going to affect a whole bunch of other areas. So we need to stop, take a look at it, step back, see where we need to correct it, and then go from there. I say a lot. So accountability and transparency, yeah, it's extremely important, and it's something that I want to ensure that you understand, that we are here to build this airplane. Not a new one, it's an old one. It's a 1950s aircraft. It's 64 years old or something like that now. So it is important that we all want that one aircraft to fly. Now, the only thing that we got to talk, I think I talked about it once before, was that when we do get into blueprints, and I get into that sooner or later, blueprints are what makes this project so unique. All right, we're not doing what other companies are doing, what other organizations are doing, like the Arrow 2. I mean, that's I love that airplane. Don't get me wrong. That's a brand new airplane. It's an Avro Arrow design, but it's going to look cool when it's finally in the air. Actually, I had a word with Alberta there, and to Springfield, I think it is, and we were talking about having our Arrow fly with theirs, and that'd be kind of neat to see at the Canadian National Air Show and at the CNE. The both aircrafts flying by. Anyway, as I finish this part of this video off, I just want you to think about what the project means to you, what you would like to see. I want your feedback and all that sort of deal, whether it's good or bad or ugly. We'll read them, and we'll go for it. Now I'm going to put this onto YouTube as I always have, so I'd like to ask you to please subscribe, and I'd like you to press the like button if you like this information, and let's go from there. Let's start getting subscribers in, let's start getting members in, donations. It's all important. It all helps to build the funding up in order to put this airplane together. All right. Basically, we have permission from the government, so it's okay. The only thing we got to do now is just go to the MDRA and then submit an application, and that'll have all the dimensions and all that sort of deal on the aircraft, and then they give the okay, and then from there we're set to go. It's just a matter of doing that at the same time as raising funds. All right. So hopefully this was a little bit interesting. Hopefully I explained a little bit more about Project 206 and Arrow 206. And yeah, let's make her happen. All right, let's make her happen. Oh, what does that say I got here? This T-shirt, by the way, is I'm gonna get used to this yet. Let's bring her back. This is a T-shirt, or sorry, it's a hoodie from I Love a Hanger. And you can have one as well if you like. They're really good. They're comfortable as heck. All right. Take care. You be safe and have a good night. Thank you. Goodbye.